So, good morning ma'am. So, amoy ni siya ang prelim coverage sa forensic ballistic. So, what is ballistic? So, ang ballistic is the science of studies that move of a projectile, especially bullets fired from firearms. It explain how a bullet move from the time of the fire until hit the target. So, ang ballistic no is isa yun siya ka projectile, isa ini siya ka study sa projectile motion. So amin ni siya ang mag help determine how a firearm was used, the direction of fire, and the identification of the firearms involved in a crime. So what is forensic ballistic? So ang forensic ballistic is the branch of forensic science that examine firearms, bullets, cartridge case, and the gunshot evidence to determine whatever a particular firearms was used in a crimes. So the three types of motion of a bullet. So number one, direct bullet, direct motion. So this is the forward movement of the bullet caused by the expanding gases from a burning powder. So example, when the trigger is pulled, the bullet travel straight toward the target. So once ang trigger or pinduton nimo ang trigger, ang bullet is mo travel siya straight pasingod sa target. Kuan siya direct motion. Largo siya igo sa target. So the number 2 is the rotatory motion. So the bullet spins while traveling through the rifling barrel. This spin makes the bullet stable and accurate. So example is a rifle bullet rotates rapidly while movement toward the target. So number 3 is the translational motion. So this happen when the bullet changes direct after hitting an object. So ang isa ka bullet ko no is ma-change niya direction once maigo ang or ma-hit ang isa ka object. So the stage of forensic ballistic. So number 1 is field investigation. So sa field investigation is this stage involve collecting and preserving firearms evidence at the crime scene. So nga di is ini na stage is ma-involve ang pag-collect o pag-preserve ng firearms evidence na makuha sa crime scene. So for example, investigator collect empty shell and bullet from the scene. So amo yan siyan kuan bali ani sa investigator is siya kuha siya ng empty shell or yung bullet sa crime scene. So technical examination. So expert examine bullet and firearm in the laboratory. So nga di is ang isa ka examiner is i-compare niya ang isa ka bullet using a comparison microscope. So kibali ang nakitaan sa crime scene is i-examine kung ano siya na bullet or i-compare nila. So legal proceeding. So ballistic finding are presented in court as evidence. So ang isa ka ballistic expert kuno is mo testified siya during the trial. Bali mag-present siya ng ballistic report and firearms evidence during sa court trial. So 3 major branches of ballistic. So number 1, interior ballistic. So study of bullet movement inside the firearms. So ini siya ang kuan, yun, pressure develop inside the barrel when gunpowder burn. So isa ka kuan siya yon, isa ka, so makuan siya na pressure, mukuha na siya ng pressure once ang barrel or gunpowder is masunog na or burn. Exterior ballistic. So study of bullet fights after leaving the muzzle. So the bullet follow a curved path toward the target. So the number 3 is terminal ballistic. So study of effect of the bullet upon hitting the target. So the terminal ballistic deals with the effect and damage caused by the projectile upon impact the target. So the internal ballistic. So the A is firing pin hit the primer. So the firing pin strike the primer to start the fire proceeding. So ang firing pin ko no, once na muigo siya sa primer, amo na siya mag-start na siya nan bali pagbuto. Bali pag pindot niya muna trigger, mo-activate dahil ton firing pin. So B is the ignition of primer mixture. The primer ignites due to percussion. So nga di is the primer mixture ignites upon impact of the firing pin. Proceeding flame that ignites the gunpowder. So C is the combustion of gunpowder. So the gunpowder kuno is burn rapidly and creates gases. So ang gunpowder is masunog, tapos maka-create siya ng mga gases. So the recoil of the gun, backward movement of the firearm after firing. So ani sa gunpowder kuno, move siya backward after the discharge. Ano siya mag-recoil siya. External ballistic. So the trajectory. So the curved path travel by the bullet. So ang isa ka bullet ko no, aniya travel is curve. Ibali ang isa ka bullet does not travel perfectly straight because gravity effect it. So kubali ang isa ka bullet ko no is dili siya maka-travel straight ko no kay tungod sa gravity. So velocity. So speed of the bullet during fly. So ang isa ka bullet ko no, ang iya ka kusog during sa yon pagbuto na niya. So air resistance. So air slow down the bullet. So ang isa ka bullet ko no, once makuha siya ng air resistance is mo slow or mo hina yan isa ka bullet once ang hangin is kusog. Range, distance between firearm and the target. So ang range is kibali distance yun siya na isa ka firearms o ang target. So thermal ballistic is like thermal penetration. So ang example is deep of bullet entry into the target. So kibali ang makaigo na ang isa ka bullet sa target. So kibali like a high powered rifle penetrate deeper than a handgun bullet. Gunshot wound. So a wound caused by a bullet entering the body. So for example, victim suffer a gunshot wound in the chest. Amen siya kibali ang isa ka wound is minigo na sa body nan, minigo na sa target. Characteristic of gunshot. So number 1 is scorching, burning caused by hot gases of flames. So for example, skin near the wound appear burn. So kibali ang isa ka skin is bali yasunog siya tungod sa hot gases or flame. So blackening. So smoke particles deposit around the wound. So dark So number 3 is tattooing. So unburned powder particle embed into the skin. So tiny puncture marks surround the wound. Type of gunshot wound. So contact wound. Gun touch the body during firing. So kibali an isa ka gun is sabud sa imo lawas during sa firing. So ang isa ka gun gayud once gikan siya or during sa firing is once maigo yon sa imo lawas is pasok gayud yun siya. So close discharge. So gun fired within 6 inches to 2 inches distance discharge. So the gun beyond 2 to 3 feet. So a distance discharge wound occurs when the firearms is fired from a relatively far distance. So kibay layo siya. Odd and even rule. So for example, ini is if entrance and exit wound are odd in a number, one bullet might still be inside the body. So kibali ang kuan ko no is entrance and exit wound or odd is damo. So yay gid bullet yan na mabilin sa kuan yung lawas. So important terms: bullet migration. So ngadi is movement of a bullet inside the body. So kibali ang movement ang isa ka bullet sa sud na nato body. So bullet embolism. So bullet travel through blood vessel. So ano sa kuno ka bullet is ga-travel sa ato blood vessel. So amo na ma'am. Thank you ma'am.